What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Quick Diz Takes podcast, episode number 44, and episode 3 of our Disney attraction series, where today we discuss Test Trak. I know, another exciting one. And I think we're just going to keep this going the same way we've been doing it every week, and that is I'll go to Johnny first, and he can tell me first and foremost whether or not he even likes or dislikes or whatever this attraction.
Well, I do like the attraction, but the new version, I've only ever gone on it twice, and it was actually this past year. Was it this year? Yeah, was it January? January might have been the first time I went on the newer version, and then I went on again in July. So the January is the first time I could use the the interactive thing.
Okay.
I would say overall, it's a good ride. I tend to like the older version better than the newer version. I don't know, maybe I liked the Crash Test Dummies TV show, and it reminded me of that. I don't know why, but
Oh, it's definitely reminiscent of that.
I don't know.
Now it's more Tron.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge Tron person, so it doesn't really appeal to me that much. I mean, but it's still one of the better rides in Disney.
Yeah, I don't understand why it looks like Tron. I like it. I like the ride. I guess I should start with that. It's a decent ride. It now looks like Tron for anyone that's never been on it. It's not themed after Tron, but it just has a Tron feel to it. With it being dark and then everything with the fluorescent lights and that kind of like almost like blacklight look to it, whatever you want to. I don't know how to really describe it, but it's basically the same ride as it was originally, but it has that look to it now, and you go through different tests, for the car, and ultimately just leads to the speed test, which is, the obvious fun part of the ride. But just starting off like we have the past couple of weeks, you start in the queue area, and the one thing I don't like about this ride is it seems like no matter if there was not a single person there, I feel like it still takes like 15, 20 minutes to get on this ride somehow. Like, you gotta design the car, and it just, when you have a fast pass, it takes forever to get on this ride. Maybe it's just me, but I always feel that way about it. And I think a lot of trips, it seems like every other trip or so, I won't even deal with it, And I would never go on it with in the standby line, because I just feel like it's when it comes to it's not worth an hour wait to go on Test Trak to me.
Yeah, and I mean that was part of the reason why we had never gone on the updated version, is when we had gone since our Epcots on the tier fast pass, we would always taking the kids and stuff. We went on Frozen or something else on that tier, and then it was just not worth it to wait in line. But we happened to I don't even know how we got. I think actually no, it was January. It was just we were just there with no kids, so I think that we did it at the end of the night when it was less, so it was fine for us. But I wouldn't make a kid wait an hour in that line without a fast pass. And then it was pretty much for the most part it was walk on over the summer, but because it didn't. You just walk through the design room. Yeah,
because they didn't want to have anybody gathered up in the other room. I assume, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah. Well, I get because they don't want you touching everything and then clean it. Having to clean it, but it was.
I would be happier with that. I know it's they're just trying to break the line up, but I don't know. I am not a big fan of that part of the ride. You design a car, I guess, and then
Yeah, I mean, it's it's just something mindless to do instead of
And
staring at a wall.
I think I would have rather, I don't know, go into a show, show me some pictures of cars on the wall or something. For me personally, but I get it.
Yeah.
For the kids,
Yeah, I mean the whole little like the parts of the queue that have like the concept cars and stuff are cool to look at. So maybe more of that. Like that's what I like. That's definitely what I liked about the older version, because you're basically in that you're like in a big garage. So there was just stuff to look at.
Yeah, it was themed out better then.
Which is,
and I guess the other thing about it is, and I hate to harp on these things with these attractions. It seems like we tend to sway in this direction, but we wouldn't be doing the attractions any justice if we weren't being honest. It's kind of dated a little bit too. Like there's that issue going on with it. Like it feels a little older. The speed part's fun, I guess, but it's one of those things where you go on YouTube and you watch, or you go to Disneyland and you see or watch on YouTube, whatever you're able to do. What's going on over there in Cars Land, Radiator Springs Racers, and you just wish you had, your park was using the technology for something like that more than it's kind of like, real life simulators.
Yeah,
it does fit in the Epcot theme, don't get me wrong, but it did anyway.
Yeah, and then they were definitely like able to kind of cheapen out a little bit by putting everything in the dark too.
Yeah, and
it was a cheaper upgrade, so they could, you just have the neon or blacklight type technology. It was a quicker upgrade for something new, I guess. But
that's why they did it. That's why they did it.
Yeah.
But it's just, I mean, we discussed this, I think, 2 videos ago, with Epcot being so short-handed on attractions at the moment. Test Trak is certainly vital and probably still qualifies as an e-ticket attraction in my mind, only because of where it's located. Like if it was even if it was like in Hollywood Studios now, I don't think it would be an e-ticket, or probably not even the Magic Kingdom. But because of the thrill element and Epcot having rides that are lacking in that department, it's standing the test of time right now. But it makes you wonder if, or I should say when, Guardians of the Galaxy opens and starts kind of raising the bar for expectations at Epcot, where that puts Test Trak down the road. No pun intended. As far as being as popular, I guess you could make the argument that Guardians is just going to bring people to that area of the park, and Test Trak will benefit from that, I guess. But
I guess, and then maybe they'll pop it down to a tier 2. And
I would say
give you the benefit of getting. So at least you can get your second fast pass could be a little better.
How many tier 1s are they going to have? Because you got to figure Frozen, Ratatouille when it opens, and then Guardians. Those 3 are guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
And then even if you're going to have a 4th, now you got to toss up between Soarin' and Test Trak, I guess.
Yeah. So.
Because Soarin's still tier 1 right now, right?
I believe
I'm not
so.
sure about that. I don't know.
I think it still is.
Okay. So.
As far as I can remember.
Another one that's, like, we all love Soarin', I think, but it being an Epcot makes it a tier 1, but there's no like I guess Frozen Ever After is probably a legitimate e-ticket. I mean, I think if you slap that in Fantasyland, it's still probably an e-ticket, just based on how the IP is.
Yeah,
But yeah, Epcot just falls short in that category. Not to lose sight of what we're trying to discuss here, but just trying to use those attractions and kind of perspective on where Test Trak is, and do people really enjoy it as much as, like, when you say Test Trak, and when we talk about Test Trak, you still kind of think like, oh, I still get the sense of like it being a popular ride. Like when it pops in like you bring up an attraction, thoughts automatically pop in your mind. When I hear that one, I still think of like, oh, that's the one you want to get on. But then I start talking about it, dissecting it, and it's
Yeah. Your initial thought of that's a popular Epcot thing when you mention it, but in reality, like I said, I mean, it was probably 3 to 4 trips that I went on that I didn't even go on it. So
it's weird because like I think everybody has like those rides that like people are like, oh, and then you're like I ain't even going on the last like 3 trips.
yeah.
Seven Dwarfs was that for me. People go on and on about it, and I don't hate it or anything, but it's just the way it falls. If like I don't score a fast pass, I'm not even thinking about it. And
Yeah.
so people ask or bring it up, and I'm just like, it's not really something that excites me. But to each their own. But anyway, so I guess sum it up. Because Sarah had given us 2 attractions. I think we're going to cover both of them today because I don't think this one's much to talk about. There is,
No.
yeah, no.
No,
So just kind of sum it up. We both kind of like it. We don't hate it. And if we're recommending it, would you? I guess if someone's going for the first time, would you recommend it?
For the first time, yeah, I think I would. I mean, I guess it is fun. I mean, for your first time seeing that, you get into design. That first time designing of the car is pretty cool. But I mean, as you know, the multiple times it's. But I mean, I would say a first-time person should go on it.
Yeah.
Once that door opens and you hit the outside, it is a pretty cool. That speed is really cool.
The re-ride thing, the re-ride value is not really there. I remember like I went when it like first came out. It might have been like a year, maybe 2 years old, and it being a lot more exciting than it is now. So I get why they built it and all that good stuff, but I don't know. It's if they announce tomorrow, next D20 they're gonna refurbish it or build something entirely new over there, I would be totally like, yes, let's do that.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see many people threatening to chain themselves to it. Like
no. Well, you will. If they will.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll really be that upset about it.
No, it's about 20. What is it? About 22 years old or so. Nothing great. But anyway, so that ride is. We had a lot to say about the other 2 rides, and there's not much to say about Test Trak, other than it's just okay. And if you haven't been to Disney, ride it. If you have, then you already know it's probably not worth going crazy for. And I'm sure there's someone listening to this that completely disagrees, and that's fine. But it's just okay to us. Anyway, moving along, we're going to cover two attractions, and we might do this on some episodes depending on obviously how much there is to talk about a certain attraction. What we'll do here is we're going to discuss an extinct attraction. So technically, we're not covering a attraction that obviously is current. Technically, we aren't covering an attraction that's current. And we'll finish up the episode by talking about, I think, one that we're probably going to get accused of liking more than it was worth. But that ride is the world famous, no, not really, but the ride in Norway, Maelstrom. And we'll start again. What are your thoughts on Maelstrom, and you wish it was still there, and blah blah blah.
Maelstrom was always, once you get into World Showcase, it's kind of like, oh well, what am I going to do? Look at these, especially as a younger person, you know, being high school age or younger. You're going into World Showcase. Oh, what am I? Look at all these. Just look at stuff. And then there was that like little hidden gem in the back of Norway, and it was like, whoa, you get to go on this. It has an actual ride, and then it's like, oh, and it's got drops and everything too. So it was always that, and it was never, you know, it was never a wait. It was always a walk on, and it was just a nice little break up to you just being in World Showcase instead of watching a film or just walking around, as you know, especially as a younger person.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I also think that ride may be more. Well, okay, so, well, I don't want to like do any injustice to like Horizons or World of Motion or any of those classics, but we'll just say that I'll just say that this one is. I would put this one in the same category as those, as far as like it really encompassed kind of like what Epcot was trying to do at the time. It was, you know, there was a little educational aspect of the ride. It had a little bit of scary part of the ride. It had, so you know, it's shooting you backwards and then a little drop at the end. It really kind of had a little of everything. And I remember like it never really scared me. I think I went there when I was like 9 or 10 the first time I went on it. It didn't scare me, but it was like, you know, spooky. I felt that it was a spooky element, like with trolls and all that stuff. That was kind of like stuck in my mind. And I remember that always the next time I went, like as one of the kind of like the highlights of our trip. I thought was that ride. It sucked to see it go, honestly. I know I made a video about it, you know, the Great Frozen Debate on the channel here, and I kind of stated that it was time. It kind of had to go, but I mean, it sucked that it had to go, I guess. I mean, it could have been refurbished, maybe, and with the same themes and made a little more up to date and maybe it would have lasted longer. But the problem was, as we said, World Showcase is boring for kids, and they need to get some IPs in there, and it just ran its course. But I mean, it had a good run too. I think it was on probably had to be almost or either 30 years or almost 30 years where that ride was in operations. I think I would say almost 30 years. I think it opened around like 87, 88, something like that. And I think it made it to what, 2014 or 15 or something on the low.
Yeah.
So it had a good run. And I don't like as a kid, I thought the troll effect was amazing. I mean, I watched, you know, seeing it now, it wasn't much of anything, but it actually looked like a little magic sparkles were going through the air. Like it was, I thought it was like a wild effect as a kid. And as I got older and seen it, obviously it wasn't that wild, but it was still a cool effect. And you know, it's just a good ride. It's one of my all-time favorites, really. Maybe my favorite extinct attraction to date. I'd have to think about that, but it's up there.
Yeah, definitely. For what it was, and it was just a nice little breakup of World Showcase, and it was, you know, it's just, you know, to see what, to know that I could just walk back there, jump on the ride, and then to now when you walk by Norway, and it's like, oh, geez, I want to go on this ride.
Yeah.
But it did what they wanted it to do for them. So
Frozen it's so funny because Frozen will probably be popular for quite some time, and like that's like you almost need a fast pass to go on that ride, unless you go right to it in the morning. If you want to do it in the morning, you can get on once quick.
Yeah,
I've noticed, and I guess that'd be the best play that I've got. But as we're older, it's tough to like differentiate it in our minds too, because I think it's World Showcase now. And I'm like, yeah, I love the meander around there, but man, as a kid, I hated World Showcase.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't hate it, but I was just like, I went there and I knew what I was getting into. I was like, okay, so there's this and there's Mexico, and they're both like right near each other.
Yeah.
on that left side, and then
Yeah.
uh,
Then it's a bit boring.
yeah, and you go in China. I go in China to see the Circle Vision just because it was something other than like window shopping or whatever else you do in some of these random pavilions. I don't know, just not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just,
Yeah. Because in kids' minds, Disney is rides and stuff. So it's just, yeah, they were, that thing in their head where I need to go on something. So,
when you're in a park, you expect rides,
yeah.
and I mean, I would say World Showcase is probably the longest stretch of real estate from like leaving Mexico to like getting back over to like Journey to Imagination of any Disney park where there's like just not a ride.
Yeah.
There's just nothing there.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can argue that like there's some shows. I mean, but
Yeah.
I didn't even like shows much when I was a kid. So I mean, you just wanted to get out. You just wanted to go on something that moved. You
Yep.
know, so Maelstrom was perfect for that. It was an awesome treat.
Yep.
Honestly, it was worth going back there just for that. Mexico was never was it will it is and will continue to be boring until they put Coco in there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's so funny how like some rides like Mexico have nothing to offer really. Yeah, and I understand the idea. Even the idea, and I say this speaking towards Norway. Like Norway, like I said earlier, covered like it was fun to ride, covered the educational aspect and all that good stuff. Mexico, when it first opened, like the first variation of the ride, at least it had the educational aspect, I guess. But now it's just it's just a silly little ride. Like it's not really
Yeah.
doing much in the way of the culture of the ride or any of that. It's just Donald Duck and the Three Caballeros.
Hmm.
I don't know, boring. God, I hope Sarah doesn't pick that one in the future. She will,
Yeah.
but, but yeah, Maelstrom's awesome, and I can't recommend it because you can't ride it anymore. But if you are if you're someone that's into Disney and weren't old enough to ride it or be there when it was open, and haven't done so already, I would recommend going on YouTube and checking it out because it's neat and you can kind of like see like where things are versus where Frozen was and the
Yeah.
Trolls where Elsa was. It's a tip for tat ride system going on there. There's a couple little things at the beginning and the end where they stretch things out and make it a little longer, but pretty much the same ride. I don't even think they get the lift hill out. The lift hill's still crickety when you go Frozen. But, I thought it was so funny that they didn't do anything about that. It's still like that effect when you go up the hill, which I think is terrible, by the way. I'm going to say that as we close this out. And the ice castle, just, I guess it's a forced perspective type of thing, and this doesn't do it for me. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. And that part is, weird.
It's just,
I know what you
doesn't
mean.
even, that ride just doesn't make sense to me. It's good for the kids. They did a good job with it, like, scene-wise, but it's just random.
Yeah.
They just wanted to get a couple songs in there and Olaf. So,
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, so actually, in closing, the last couple minutes here, maybe we should discuss that. So, if we're on Maelstrom, I'll just cover Frozen like real quick. Do you think, like, what are your thoughts on like what it became? Did you like Maelstrom better versus what is there now, or?
Oh yeah, I liked Maelstrom better. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not like the biggest Frozen person. I guess with the I guess since Frozen 2 came out, like the kids have been like were way more into Frozen, so I guess it's been in my head more since the second one. So I mean, but as far as like the ride, it's fine. I like the Frozen queue better than the Maelstrom queue. I mean, I think
that's fair.
The Maelstrom queue is short anyway, but at least I like this, the look of it. They do a very good job, especially like in Mexico and in there, making you feel like you're outside at night. in while you're inside. So I like that. And they get the little what is it? That little the guy that runs the sauna there in the queue is cool too.
I don't know his name, but I know what you're talking about.
But the ride. I mean, what like you said, it's just some of I mean, I like some of the scenes more than others, but overall, it's just I think it's just a way to get the movie in there and make the line long and make it more popular. Other than that, I mean, they could have done more. I mean, I guess they could have done more. It would be nice if they could upgrade it to like. I think it would be much better if they upgraded it to like that technology and that Beauty and the Beast ride, the new Beauty and the Beast ride in.
Yeah.
What is it in? I don't even know what park it's in, but the
Tokyo.
that would be so maybe their upgrade will be that. I don't know, and do something eventually, but I mean it's not going to be upgraded anytime soon with the popularity it still is at. So it's always if I ever randomly go on the app, it's always the longest wait whenever you go on it anyway. So, but it's fine.
What can you say? And then the other thing is like they didn't generally make sequels unless they were those cheesy ones that went to straight to VHS. And so I think they know with Frozen, they knew at the time they must have already because it takes years to make those kind of movies. They were making a sequel and probably a third. And so they didn't do their typical like let's just revisit scenes from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it would have been tough anyway because they didn't have a lot of room. But they just revisited elements from the movie. So I don't know. At
least upgrade the. I like, for me, I like the music from Frozen 2 better than Frozen 1. So at least you could maybe throw in.
I mean, I like certain songs from each, I guess. So if they had the better ones from each as a collaboration would be nice. But oh well, Frozen's Frozen. We're old men, so
yeah,
I get it. Anyway, I think we're gonna wrap it up right here. We'll do one more episode next week, and then you're off to Disney, so probably won't be back till after the new year, I guess. That sound right on your schedule? Like when do you guys get back?
Sure, we come back in like the middle of the week, so. And then
middle of the following week.
Yeah, because when is Christmas? Christmas is on a Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we leave on the Friday. We get back on like that next Wednesday night or something. And so. Yeah,
so that following weekend we'll record. So so we'll have one more episode this upcoming week, and then we will see you in 2021. Get rid of this miserable year behind us. But same shtick as always. Thanks for joining us. Our Twitter accounts are on the bottom. Feel free to hit us up. Feel free to leave comments. And we will see you guys next week.